Yo, quick question. Do you know the most underrated brawlers? No? Good, because I'm gonna be telling you. You know, I don't like to just yap, so let's get into the list, bro. Before the list starts, I have an honorable mention for Maisie. Now, to be honest, she is not the strongest right now, but the reason she is pretty underrated in my opinion because she can counter Frank and Lily. So, you know, like in this meta, that's pretty strong, so. Starting us off in number 10 is Chester. I put Chester in number 10 because he is not the most underrated, but he's still not picked as much as he should because he is pretty broken right now. So if you don't play him or like didn't try him yet, just try it out because he's pretty good. The fact that he relies on luck does set him back a bit, but that also works for him because people don't know what to expect out of him. Number 9 is Cordelius. Personally, I think ever since the last meta, with the snipers, he did fall off out of the meta, but he never was bad, he just couldn't like really do much against the snipers. That's why people stopped using him, but now that it's the tank meta, with like Frank and all of that, he is pretty good again. Because he never got like a significant nerf, the meta just didn't favor him that much. But now though, he is pretty good again, so use him. Next up is Lou. Now in my opinion, same as with Cord, he's also like, he didn't get anything big nerf, buff, anything. It's just the fact that he can counter Frank and Meg. His whole kit can counter Frank because of the freeze and also his hypercharge, which is still pretty good even though it did get nerfed a while ago. But let's just say if Frank has hyper and doesn't have the sick beats gadget, throw your hyper or just freeze him, and that's hyper gun right there. You will see a pattern of brawlers that can counter Frank, Lily or Meg are gonna be most likely underrated, so get used to it, I guess. Now the next brawler, unlike the last two, did get a pretty big change, is that he got his hypercharge, and that's Barley. To be honest, when I first saw it, I thought it was gonna be pretty mid because it just breaks bushes and deals more damage. But the more damage is actually really good. It deals like 2k every single tick. That's pretty strong, Also just the sheer area that it does cover, it's pretty good. He's at least A tier in my opinion, like high A tier right now. The only downside is that it's Barley, and people are not gonna play Barley, so. Question, do you like Barley? Let me know in the comments down below. Number 6 is another thrower, Hilarion Lori. Now I don't get it why, but people don't play Hilarion Lori anymore that much. Yeah, he got like a ton of nerfs, but he's still pretty good, honestly. I would say he's like at least top 3 best throwers right now. He doesn't have a hypercharge, I get that, but it's still Hilarion Lori. The damage, the aerial control, Lori, they're still pretty good. Also the gadget still does what it did before, which is a pretty like pesky thing in my opinion. Because ever since this game existed, throwers were countered by assassins. But if you jump on Hilarion Lori, and Lori is out, you press the gadget and then you switch with Lori. And Lori is a shotgunner, so he counters assassins. You see what the problem is? You can't really counter Lori that easily. But even without Lori, you can burst people down with basically just 3 shots. So then what's gonna counter them? Snipers? No, because you can just hide behind the walls because you're a thrower. Healers? Not really. I'm telling you, if you pick them in the right mode and map, they are gonna dominate, so keep that in mind. Halfway through the list is my man Buster. This one might be a bit weird, but it's not, trust me. The thing with Buster is that you can just put him in the most broken brawlers, and he will just help them, and they will be even better. But he also does good against them, so because he can block and disturb Frank's hyper, also just attacks. Lily cannot just burst him down like that. Meg also gets countered by the shield, and also because if he pulls her in, she is kinda melted, so there she goes, He also just counters everyone that's strong and that has like projectiles as their attacks because they should get bounced back. And in getting your shield with Buster is not that hard, to be honest. Moving on to number 4 is... Everyone knows that snipers like Piper, Angelo are extremely busted, and even Byron. But Mandy doesn't get that much love, Which to me that's pretty weird because she got the buff to where you only need 4 attacks to get your super, which is pretty big. Because you can just cycle that shit so fast now. And if you hit it, it does a good amount of damage. But not everyone loves snipers, so it is what it is. And now we're in top 3, starting with Griff. If you thought people don't play Mandy, wait till you see about Griff. I bet people forgot that he existed. But that's pretty bullshit to me, because he deals so much damage. Frank cannot do shit to him, and neither can Lily, to be honest. Because if you have the super, you can just burst them down. Also Meg, because she gets put out of mech easily against him. Number 2 is Amber. Amber has been so good for so long, but no one plays her really. which I don't get because you can control a lot of area with your super. The gadget is also pretty good to burst down people. You can burn the bushes for free basically, and she's in the hardest to use. And if she gets a hyper, she will be for sure top 5. So do not sleep on her because she's pretty good. And now for number 1. People are catching on to him, but he's still a bit underused, and it's Gale. The hypercharge looked pretty useless, I will admit it, but he is really strong. I would say S tier at least. Because he always had really good matchups, but now with the hyper, they just made the matchups even better. And also some of the brawlers like Frank, which are extremely broken, get countered pretty hard by him. And also, I would say it's easier to use than Amber, which is also pretty good for him. And to me, these are the 10 most underrated brawlers in Brawl Stars right now. If you disagree with any of these, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.